Welcome back to Journey's Prime to the rest of our stories. Two years ago, media practitioners in the Ashanti region launched a campaign to plant trees to protect wetlands in Kumasi and its environs. The first project saw 65 coconut trees planted along the banks of the Subin River at Denyame, an area prone to flooding anytime it rains. Unfortunately, all the trees planted were uprooted by a private developer to make way for a construction project. Joining us, Mahmoud Mohammed Nuruddin finds out why the trees were destroyed at a time the country has committed to taking climate action.
Serious concerns were raised about unrestrained cutting of trees that once served as windbreak in the once beautiful garden city of the country. The journalists, most of whom are environmental activists, were only vigilant about the environmental devastation. They just wanted to make a difference and help in greening the city of Kumasi. In total, 75 coconut trees were planted in a one-day exercise with plans to extend the project to other areas. The Ghana Journalists Association, led by its regional chair, Kingsley Hope, and other senior members chose coconut trees because of its diverse benefits. One such is its ability to provide shade, fruits, and income. The location for the plantation was ideal because coconut trees need at least 1 inch of water per watering.
Discussion with KMA, they made us to understand that the site was a buffer zone. And my little understanding of buffer zone, we agreed because we know that it will be protected from high human impact, negative high human impact. And so we wholeheartedly, accepted to do the plantation project there. If I not been KMA giving us, DJ has not the power to just pick up itself and choose a place and then do this. It's a national project because we wanted the place to be a coconut grove in the name of Ghana Journalists Association as our contribution to the fight against climate change and then greening the Kumasi and looking at the location.
2 years on, the journalists would have expected their trees to grow beautifully.
But that is not the case. Structures are being constructed on the land known as wetland because of its high level of saturation. Assuming these coconut trees were alive, they would have provided what only nature can give: oxygen and fruits. But it is just what it is.
We are not a serious country, we are not a serious people, because we know how important tree is to life, tree is to health, tree is to everything. So if somebody can just go and cut it off, we have Regional Security Council here, and even where the tree was planted, it's right within a security zone area because it's a buffer zone, but nobody seemed to know who did it. Nobody seemed to have called the person who did it to order or brought him or her to order. So it means we aren't a serious country, and I wouldn't waste my time, honestly, or spend time to say that I'm joining the Ghana Journalists Association to plant trees. Maybe a different project I'll join, but to plant trees, I'll not join because I know that tree will be cut off one day by a rich person.
Even when citizens are willing to plant trees, many are concerned about how these trees would survive. So it was not just tree planting, it was also protecting them from human pressure. The destruction of the trees came as a shock to the journalists. They feel the association has been betrayed in its effort to green Asante Mine and mitigate the effects of climate change.
And surprisingly, the KMA also said they were not even aware that such an activity had taken place in terms of the cutting down of the trees. It was very sad indeed, because of course we pride ourselves to be the garden city of West Africa, and the call had been, how do we restore this enviable position of Kumasi? But for you to take this initiative, you invest your time, some resources into the plantation, and then within a twinkle of an eye, everything is cut down. It's really sad. It was really something that everybody wasn't excited about.
Sadly, the 10 coconut trees planted at the press center did not survive the weather.
Planted some here, but unfortunately, you even be the best person to answer the question you are posed to me, because this is your field and you know what goes into sustain. It's not just mere plantation or planting the material, be it economic or non-economic. It needs to be sustained, and sustenance here or sustainability here is voluminous. Your time, commitment to ensure they grow. And so I am a working person, a full-time working journalist with Ghana News, New Times Corporation. I'm the regional correspondent. So you know how the job is involving.
Joining me via Zoom is Kingsley Hope. He's GJA chairman for the Ashanti region. For more on this development, I'm grateful for your time. How has your recent engagement with KMA been?
Yeah, thank you very much. But just as our colleagues have been listening, it has not been any favorable yet. And the impression we are getting is that it seems there are some big hands tied to the project. So the KMA itself is also careful in handling the issue. So we are all joined to see how we will go about it. In fact, we are trying to even follow it up with a petition to the Ministerial Palace to see Otumfuo to come into it, to find out who is behind the project and how we could go ahead with what really we wanted to leave behind, a legacy in fighting against, climate change. That was our little contribution that we were trying to. It was part of the first award ceremony that we organized. You see, yes, to make sure the Ashanti Regional Association has left a legacy in fighting against climate change and then greening the city as it has taken off today. So that was it. It has not been any favorable. Still, even yesterday I had the opportunity of talking to the same network with the mayor, and the response is the same, no favorable.
So as it stands now, you've not been able to get those who authorize the destruction of the trees. Have you been able to gather that?
We are still gathering it. Yesterday, for instance, I was at the site. It was very interesting if we were to be around to see what went on. You see, so I had to leave. The guys working there will not even allow you to come in. It was just by grace yesterday that I got to even to have a chat with the foreman in charge of what is going on. I went there and it was kind of a manufacturing of blocks for the entire project to take off. You see?
In 2019, when you were planting the trees, did any of the officials of the assembly take part in the process, or it was a mere statement for you to go ahead and plant because it's a buffer zone?
No, it wasn't. We thanks to the then public relations officer of the KMA, Mr. Okumenyami, he helped me to get in touch with the head of environmental department there, Mr. Isaac Basani. Had a chat with him and he recommended the place. It will interest you to know that a day to the program, if I had not gone there, GJA was going to find itself in a great mess. Why am I saying this? The impression was given to us that all the materials were going to be provided by the KMA. So ours was just to go there, expend our energy and whatever refreshment that we were going to organize for ourselves to plant the trees. So a day to that, I had to organize myself, contacted a friend at the Crop Research Institute here at Fumesa, who linked me up to a farmer, of a coconut farmer. So initially it was commercial trees, but later we realized that no, anything could happen, just as it has happened. So if we grow any commercial tree like say teak or whatever, it will be easier for whoever to hew them down to do. So why don't we go in for something that is edible, looking at the benefits, economic benefit, and even health benefits of coconut. So we chose coconut. So GJA organized, it was an awards period. So we had sent out some letters, and thankfully to God or whatever, we were able to get some pieces of money. And so we put some together. We had to take off some to organize for the coconut trees from a farmer at Fumesa. So we bought them. And I remember very well that my last interaction with Mr. Basani, I dished him out. There was branded T-shirts. I dished him out one of the T-shirts, hoping he was coming. But he couldn't make it. And it was thanks to Mr. Okumenyami, who came there with, I remember very well, 2 or so staff from KMA to be part of the planting exercise.
Okay.
So it was something that was made known to the KMA. We couldn't have just picked up ourselves, say we are DJ, and so we wanted to do this.
So this study you're saying, has it been brought to the attention of the regional minister and traditional leaders in the metropolis? The
regional minister, I want to believe, is aware because my secretary, Georgina, has had a chat with him. But as I said earlier, everybody is careful handling the issue. You see that? And for the traditional leaders, the next step, as I said earlier, is we're trying to put our minds together, petition Otumfuo on that.
So now that the trees have been destroyed for private development purposes, I mean, what do you intend to do? To probe further and maybe find answers to questions bordering the association?
Yeah, find answers to questions bordering the association. And I was also thinking of, was it today? Yeah, it was today that we spoke on that network with the mayor. And the mayor made us to understand when I was trying to call for compensation that per the assembly's bylaws, if a developer destroys, say, 10 of a planted tree, he will have to, or she will have to double or triple the plants. And so it wasn't going to be any fiscal cash. But fine, I said that if the materials will be given to us, the number of materials they will buy for the GJA, it is a legacy we want to leave. Okay. So we are going to find a place that KMA will go and recommend another place for us to do the replanting. Okay. If it is money, they give it to us. We are going to put it back into the replanting. And you see, the crux of the matter is, if they should give us the materials, know that what we went to do, branded t-shirt, I'm not talking about the refreshments, the tools that we rented for. So definitely there could be something like